Tagging is endemic in the urban environment. At its best, it's an eyesore. At its worst, it's a costly and demoralising attack on someone's property that is costing ratepayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. The council's attempt to handle this problem has been seen as ineffectual by residents who now feel they have been left with no hope of solving the problem. Let's take a look at some of the areas affected by tagging. Vacant buildings, particularly industrial ones, are a great temptation to taggers. The effort it takes to scale a fence or squeeze through a hole in the fence is rewarded with thrill and sense of accomplishment. A tagger feels at leaving their mark for everyone else to see. Do you have any issues? Is it depressing to come out and see tagging?
It's not depressing, it just gets me irritated and upset. Because it's my private property, and these people, without permission, look, I'm glad for somebody to do something straight out on my wall. Yep. Doesn't bother.
A growing majority of councils within Australia are spending in excess of $1 million each year to address their graffiti problems. Councils are also tending to adopt and undertaking what is termed situational prevention, which involves methods such as rapid response. This has become a favourite. This involves the removal of graffiti as soon as it occurs on a site. It is a situational approach aimed at eliminating further opportunities for graffiti to occur on that site. The vigilance of regularly painting over, the changing of surface textures are all to discourage taggers in what is a battle of attrition. Councils are not experiencing any less occurrences. It's time for a different strategy.
Looking at the existing products on the market is a clear insight to understand what hasn't worked efficiently to keep the taggers out of the streets and off public property.
Graffiti tagging is the most predominant problem experienced by suburban communities. It is this group that are the most agitated to express themselves through prolific tagging.
Now, how important is it to you to have your tag on a wall? Is it worth dying for?
Yeah. Well, you can see that.
Yeah? Is it worth killing somebody for?
Yeah. Well, they get in the way. If you're going to be a tagger, you can't show weakness.
But how do we find the happy medium where all parties are satisfied with the outcome? Taggers will still need a space to express themselves as a creative output, and the residents want their spaces to be free of this vandalism.
As Rob White, Professor of Criminology from the University of Tasmania, expressed so succinctly, cultural space, free space. The expansion of the range of canvases for legal graffiti to occur, the auditing of existing public and private space, surfaces for potential availability. Free spaces in prime locations, not unlike the old-fashioned soapboxes in Hyde Park for free vocal expression, instead legal graffiti tagging. Periodically cleaned surfaces to allow for new messages.
Doing graffiti is kind of an escape. Usually I do the most graffiti when I'm depressed and I need to get out of the house and, get the fuck out of there. And it doesn't matter, at that point, if anyone who's ever dealt with depression, they know that it's just kind of like, fuck it, like I'm gonna go do this. And
considerations of the psychological aspect through education and behavioural modification that targets offenders and the potential future offenders is more compelling. Direct collaboration with community groups will be strategy for the immediate and for the long term.
Looking at the Council's concept of CPTED, crime prevention through environmental design, we can develop a space where these users can express themselves creatively, socialise and obtain a sense of ownership, which is what they're seeking.
Once we have identified key areas to implement, we will encourage the Council and legal bodies to assist in developing these cultural hotspots for the users. We will develop key areas that are not only a medium for tagging, but a more holistic, well-thought-out area for the users to socialise and make it their own. Once we have identified key areas to implement, we will encourage the Council and legal bodies to assist in developing these cultural hotspots for the users.
Councils and private enterprise exchange tens of thousands of dollars, if not millions, on advertising space in prime locations. In exchange for some of this prime space in high traffic areas, taggers can have more than their 15 minutes of fame. In exchange of high traffic areas, taggers can divert their gaze, attention and activity away from the suburban communities. This is definitely more economical and productive than the millions of dollars spent currently on removing graffiti. In the high street, graffiti can be more appreciated. Taggers have placed their mark and engaged in what can be termed cultural space.
But in reality, graffiti to me is more of an outlet of your expressions, whether it's with spray paint, with a brush, or with weed paste. It's just something that you just want to get it out of your mind and put it up on the wall so everybody can see it.
But every time you do it, you know, it's always, you remember exactly what happened during that moment. Every time you do a piece in a black book, you can sit there and remember where you're at and what you're doing, how you felt, all this stuff. And people you forgot about, people who will maybe die or whatever. You know, that black book is a way to preserve, you know, that kind of, that social, you know, context that you have with all your friends.